Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to walk you through a bench press session, but a slightly different one where I include a CNS hold, a central nervous system hold that I usually use as an isometric exercise in order to prep me for a heavy single lift. I got some comments in a previous video where I shared a short on a CNS hold, and some people said, oh, I don't really get this, how it works with strength training. And I thought, that'd be a great idea for a video. Let me explain exactly how it works, the benefits, etc. As usual, people, really appreciate it if you could like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell notification for future videos. Okay, let's get into it. Right, so I spent quite a bit of time, probably 20 minutes to half an hour warming up for this session. Reason being, I planned in the session to get a heavy single. The target was 120 kg, and also get a 100 kg for 10 reps. Now, the reason why I combined both of them is I'm going through a sort of strength training exercise now where I'm building back up to some of my bigger numbers. My bench, I think, was 135, and I started off a few weeks ago and I was doing 2 reps with 100 kg. Since then, we've been building up. I've got to 10 reps. I had a spotter with me on that particular day. So the goal again today was to see if I can hit 10 reps again on 100 kg. But then I also wanted to touch on a heavy single, and for me the target today was 120. I haven't touched 120 probably since the beginning of the year, around sort of January to March, when I was in a strength training program for the 3 powerlifting movements, the deadlift, the squat, and the bench. So I spent a lot of time warming up, going through all the shoulder exercises for my front delts, my rear delts, my side delts as well, and try and get as warm as possible. In this particular exercise, I'm also including my chest and trying to contract my chest quite a bit. And the reason for this is just to avoid injury. I've had issues with my rotator cuff in the past where I've injured it while bench pressing. So I try and make sure that my shoulders are extremely warm and ready for the movements ahead. I would strongly recommend this to anyone that's doing any bench pressing, and to be honest, any kind of pressing movement, whether that be incline bench or decline bench or just a flat bench. Get your shoulders really warm. You won't regret it because it will avoid injury moving forward. So I spent quite a bit of time doing this, and these are all the exercises that you can see now. I was aiming for about 15-20 reps on most of these exercises, and I did 4 sets of each one. So like I said, it was quite a long session. That was basically a workout on its own, probably about 25 minutes, half an hour of just getting a nice pump in the shoulders. Right, now we get into the bench pressing itself. I build up as normal. So here I'm starting off with 40 kg, just so people don't get confused. My barbell is 15 kg, not 20 kg. So that's why I've always got those small biscuit plates on the end of them, 2.5 on each side, in order to make the bar and those weights 20. So here we have 40 kg essentially, and then you will see the progression where I just go up in little increments. So here I've got 60, and I'm doing about 5 reps on each, and as it gets heavier, then I reduce the reps. One of the things that I would highly recommend with anyone bench pressing, squatting, deadlifting, those 3 power movements, is to try and focus heavily on your form and approach, and try and make it repeatable every time. How you put your hands on the bar, where you put your fingers on the bar, how you arch your back, how you position your back, how you position your feet on the floor, and everything. If you can make that repeatable over and over and over and over, then it gives you less to think about. So for me, I'm very purposeful about putting my right hand in a particular position on the bar, then my left hand, then coming up, arching the back, making sure that my back feels stable on the bench, digging my foot into the floor, tightening up my glutes, and then pressing. So now we're up to 100 kg on the barbell. So going for 10 reps here. Same form and position and adjustments. You can do the count there. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 was a bit of a struggle, and I didn't have 10 in there without a spotter. So we did 9, not too bad. Could have got 10 if I had a spotter there, but I couldn't be bothered with trying to fail the 10th rep and then trying to swing the barbell off me. So now we're progressing on to a top single. I've done the 100 kg for reps. We're now going to do 105. I'm actually looking for about 3 reps, really just looking to feel the heavier weight and then progress up from there. So talking about feeling the heavier weights, I'm going to dive into what I call a CNS hold, central nervous system holds, or static hold. It is basically an isometric training method that can be used to target specific muscle groups and can be an effective way of overloading your central nervous system. Essentially, this method is called CNS overloading and is actually well documented by world record holding strength athletes in the powerlifting space as a way for you to get your body, your central nervous system, your mind used to handling weight that is anywhere from 10 to 20% above what your 1 rep max is. But I didn't know this before I did some research on it. I actually kind of figured this out myself, and I'll tell you exactly how that happened. When I was lifting a few years ago and trying to get better bench press numbers, I used to find that when I got to certain numbers, and they weren't crazy, but for me, those were the big numbers for me. And mine usually sat somewhere around sort of 110 or so. Every time I lifted something like 110, as soon as I put the weight off the rack, it felt like I was carrying a house, basically. So the thought of bringing that weight back down to my chest was basically defeating. And before I even moved the bar, I usually felt like I had failed the lift. And so what I started doing is I started just holding the weight just to feel it before pressing it. So I would hold the weight and then I would rack it. And then sometimes I would put a heavier weight on. So if I was going for 110, I would put 120 on and I would just hold it for 5 seconds or so, just so my body got used to the weight. And then I would rack it. And then I discovered that this is something called CNS overloading, which is basically just a concept in strength training that involves taxing the central nervous system to a high degree during your workouts. It is a key part of progressive overload, which is obviously another fundamental principle in strength training. And it's just another way of taxing your central nervous system in order to recruit the different muscle groups, muscle motor units within your body to perform greater and better tasks and greater feats of strength. So that's why I include CNS holds in my training. And in this particular workout, I did a 160 kg CNS hold for about 29 seconds just before I went for this single, which is 120 kg. And as you can see, I hit it because I think I was already used to that heavier weight. I didn't have a spotter as well, so I normally don't go for heavy singles without a spotter, but this was a good shout. Quite a good bench session. Hopefully the information that you've picked up around the warming up, getting the shoulders really ready for the day, the different benefits in progressive overload with reps at 100 kg and then singles at 120 in this particular case, will help you along your strength training journey, whether it be just on the bench or another exercise. As usual, people, like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.